we'll move into the real estate. Okay, here we go. So 5 seconds of silence here. Or actually, be quiet until I introduce you. Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing on Talk 910. You know our show. It's where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. And for those of you listening for the first time, here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, and Rick Warner of Keller Williams Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. The vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located about 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. You can reach them at 916-777-5511, and today's trivia theme is old TV. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. We're also on television, Comcast Channel 26 and AT&T Channel 99 on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. With all that said, in one breath, today's guest is America's Business Coach, Coach Ron Tunick, who's going to talk a little bit about current news and social media, and then he'll also chime in when we talk about some real estate. Coach, welcome to the Best of Investing.
Edward, I always love being on your show. It's really an honor, and hello to everybody in Northern California. My daughter lives there up in San Francisco, and I love your neck of the woods, so thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, always a pleasure. So you and I were talking just before the show about current news and social media. Why don't you get into that with the audience here?
Well, and I can't wait to talk to you and Rick about real estate, because I've got a couple things I want to ask Rick. But I tell you what, after the news the last couple of days, I came real close, and I'm still on the edge. You guys might have to talk me off, but I'm real close to maybe literally dumping all of my social media environment, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything I'm involved with, Skype.
Yeah, but what about all those good-looking girlfriends you have?
I don't really want the government listening to my conversations. I don't want them reading my email. I don't want them to know what's going on in my private life. And I'm beyond concerned. And I'm not on the left or the right. I'm an issue-oriented person. I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat.
Okay, let's get some feedback here from both Mark and Rick. What do you guys feel about that?
Well, it was really surprising news to hear, and particularly with a Democrat in office, because we know how we all got, we Republicans and or those of us who at least are on the conservative side, when Bush has been in office for 8 years, I mean, that's all we heard was the trampling of civil liberties, and now we've got a Democrat president in there and a Democrat-controlled Congress, and it's the same old, same old. In fact, if anything, it's worse.
It's scarier.
Well, the thing I thought was fascinating was that you watched all the talking heads talking about this. It was all of a sudden the Republican talk, the kind of the more conservative side who would normally be bashing Obama and everything else. All of a sudden they found themselves in the position of going, well, no, I think this is kind of what this is the stuff that we need to do to protect our country. And I thought it was quite fascinating, actually, to watch that.
That's why I call them Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
Yeah. But, Coach, what do you, now there's...
Look, here, I've got several issues, and again, I'd love to get your feedback, all of you guys, but issue number one is that privately held companies are they taken over by the government? These are privately held public companies that have not divulged any of these issues to us, their client, their customer. These are privately held companies that are allowing the government to push them around. Guys, I don't get it. This is not the America that I know.
Well, it is a slippery slope because, again, it starts with, well, look, we're just looking at phone call records. We're not listening to phone calls. Okay, well, great. So,
what's the difference?
Well, and do you really believe that? But we're monitoring emails, but we're not reading them. It's just like it starts to sound like nonsense after a while. And plus, it's the foot in the door. It's what is it going to look like in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? It's the creeping aspect of civil liberties vanishing before our eyes.
And where have we heard that term? What's the definition of is? Right?
Yeah.
Well, and they're not reading the emails until one of the buzzwords comes up, and then they have to read it.
Exactly.
1984, but in Southern California, we have cameras on so many cities now have traffic cameras. They just did a thing on the nightly news that in Washington, D.C., $8 million on one intersection. $8 million in one stretch of the road that they earned from people speeding 5 miles over the speed limit. At what point, guys, do the cameras go into our home?
Well, but that, the other side of that, again, not to be the argumentative guy, but we had the bombings in Boston, and it was because of those same exact cameras that we were able to identify quickly who these guys were and get them down. So.
Well, look, I remember after September 11th, they asked randomly how many people would like to see random cameras on every corner. And 95% of the people said yes. And again, it's just like
well, I want to know who they polled on that one. I don't know. I believe that's. But Coach, you mentioned the cameras, and then of course now they've got this thing called the Google Glass, the glasses that are going to be attached to the internet and have a camera, and everybody's going to be walking around photographing everything. I mean, I read science fiction novels growing up as a kid about living in a world where your every move and everything you say was photographed, and the authorities always were on the alert, and that's just a scary thought to live in.
Well, and your show's about investments, or we're going to talk about real estate, but I think this is going to have an effect on almost every industry. And your point about the glasses, Edward, are spot on. So here it is, 2013. What happens in 2016 or 17 when you go into a store and you have, let's say, beyond the Google glasses, but now the employees or certain companies have cameras and they're looking at what shirt you're wearing. I'm an Oregon Duck fan, so I'll walk into a store and the government will know I'm an Oregon Duck fan. And maybe they don't like that. Maybe the president is a Ohio State Buckeye fan, and he's going to have issues with a Duck fan. I mean, obviously I'm taking it to the extreme, but did you guys ever think we'd be at this point? And where are we going to be in 10 years? So that's my question.
But we're all going to have to be wearing brown shirts.
Well, and and they're already talking about clothes becoming computerized. So your buttons are now camera-ized.
Wearable wear.
Wearable wear, right? And so it really is going that direction.
Or what about just because of all the gangs and stuff? They say you at some school you can't wear red. You can't wear any color red.
Yeah.
Because it's a gang symbol.
That's true. No, down in L.A., you're right. You're absolutely right. So, we could dwell on, but at some point, who's going to take responsibility? Who's in charge, you guys? I thought we, as a democracy, we send representatives to represent us. My question, after the last couple of days, is are we, as a populace, being represented properly? That is really
they represent themselves. I mean, the job of a politician, I've said this before, is to get reelected. They're not servants.
Raise money to get reelected.
Yeah,
well, and actually, I think that's probably the only thing that most people, whether it doesn't matter what side of the aisle that you're on, they probably all agree that we are not being represented.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, so that's a kind of an interesting
I saw something
conundrum.
I saw something on the internet, just like Yahoo or something, just before he came on, and it said, most people don't trust their government. And it's like, gee, that's news.
That's not news.
Okay, guys, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here. The trivia theme is old TV. All right, what old TV show featured Ralph, Alice, Ed, and Trixie? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. What old TV show featured Ralph, Alice, Ed, and Trixie?
I know the answer.
Okay, don't tell us yet. Don't tell us yet. Hold on. When we come back, we'll let you answer it. 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your email and your name. And remember, when you give us your email, spell it slowly, like E is in Edward, D is in David, W is in Warrior. Okay. And don't touch that dial, because the best of investing is going to be coming right back with some excellent real estate tips.